Hello, Scorpio. Thank you for returning to today's astrology session where we decode the messages the universe is quietly sending your way. I know lately things might have felt a bit stalled, like something is waiting to shift before real momentum can return. And today, I'm here to help you understand the deeper transitions taking place in your life, both internally and externally. This is just another horoscope. It's a meaningful dialogue between you and your inner world, reflected through the symbols of astrology and the insight of the tarot. Together, we'll explore key themes around your finances, love life, career, health, and personal relationships, each one offering clues to the path you're stepping into. So if you've been seeking clarity, direction, or simply wondering why things feel the way they do, let's step into the energy of April 4, 2025. This reading is for you, Scorpio, deep, powerful, and ready for transformation. April 4th brings a noticeable shift in the financial rhythm of your chart, Scorpio. Quiet but undeniable. There's a sense that something is ready to move, not because you've pushed for it, but because the energy has been building underneath the surface for some time now. With Mercury forming a trine to Pluto, your ruling planet, your thoughts about money, stability, and long-term security are no longer just thoughts. They're becoming intentions, and intentions, when grounded in clarity, are powerful. You may find yourself reviewing where your energy has gone financially, not just where you've spent or earned, but where you've invested belief. What have you told yourself you could or couldn't do? Where have you accepted just enough when you quietly known you're capable of more? The astrology today doesn't shout for risk, but it does ask for commitment. This isn't about chasing quick wins. It's about aligning your resources with your purpose. If you've been sitting on an idea, maybe a side project, a business concept, or even a shift in how you budget and plan, this is the moment to begin laying down real structure. Even a small, concrete step taken today carries weight because the energy now is rooted in transformation, and Pluto doesn't support half measures. If you're serious, the universe will meet you where you are, but you have to be honest about what you're ready to grow. There's also a subtle reminder here. Your relationship with money is never just about money. It's about power, trust, and self-worth. And right now, you're being asked to look at whether your financial decisions are matching the value you know you carry. If there's tension, if you're playing small, holding back, or letting fear of instability guide your choices, it's time to gently challenge that. What you commit to today becomes the foundation for something that may not fully show itself yet, but is on its way. And just like the emotional undercurrents you may be navigating in your relationships, which we'll explore next, your financial choices are asking the same thing. Can you trust what's trying to emerge, even if it asks you to leave the familiar behind? Emotional themes continue to unfold on April 4th, Scorpio especially, as Venus squares the moon in your opposite sign. This aspect doesn't necessarily bring conflict, but it does stir a quiet dissonance, something you might feel in the background of your interactions or in the spaces where words don't quite land the way they're intended. If you're partnered, you may notice a subtle imbalance in how connection is being given or received. If you're single, the weight of past dynamics may surface, not to haunt you, but to ask, what patterns are still lingering in your emotional field? This transit invites honesty, not the kind that demands confrontation, but the kind that asks you to be real with yourself. What do you truly need in a relationship? Not what you've settled for, not what you've rationalized, but what deeply nourishes you. The square between Venus and the moon often brings moments of emotional mismatch, but within that friction is the potential to uncover clarity. Sometimes the discomfort isn't a sign that something's wrong, it's a sign that something is being revealed. There's also the possibility of someone from your past reappearing in some form. Whether it's an actual message, a memory, or even a shift in how you view what once was, the cosmos is gently opening the door to review old emotional contracts. You don't have to step back into anything, but you are being asked to consider what you've outgrown and whether there's still a part of you tied to a version of love that no longer fits. Not every emotional echo needs to be answered, but it can be acknowledged and then released. This moment is less about making grand romantic decisions and more about recalibrating your inner compass. When your emotional expectations don't align with your current reality, it's not a failure, it's information. Use it. Let it guide you toward a deeper awareness of how you want to feel in connection and what kind of emotional honesty you're willing to bring into your relationships going forward. And all of this ties closely with your sense of self-worth, which we explored through your financial choices. The more clearly you define your emotional needs, the more naturally your boundaries and standards will align across all areas of your life. What you allow, what you choose, what you walk away from. It all speaks to how deeply you trust your own value. April 4th places your professional momentum under a steady, focused light. Mars, the planet of drive and ambition, is making a supportive sextile to Saturn, activating your career sector with a kind of disciplined determination that doesn't often come naturally, but when it does, it's deeply effective. This isn't scattered energy, it's methodical, intentional. And it's asking you to build something that lasts. You may feel a stronger sense of urgency around your goals now, but it's not the rushed, anxious kind. It's a quiet pressure, like something inside you knows it's time to stop circling the idea and start laying the structure. You might be revisiting a plan you've sat on for months or suddenly see a path open up that before felt blocked. Don't mistake this energy for coincidence. Saturn doesn't move things until you're truly ready to handle them. And Mars isn't interested in theory. It wants action. If you felt overlooked or underestimated professionally, this is the time to reposition yourself. Not by pushing louder, but by refining your focus. Make your contribution clear. Take ownership of the value you bring. This transit rewards those who are willing to commit not just to ambition, but to process. Success under this energy comes not from explosive breakthroughs, but from consistency. That email you've delayed sending, that proposal you keep tweaking, that boundary you've avoided setting, they're all waiting for you to choose momentum over hesitation. That said, with the sun still in Aries, the collective pace is fast, and not everyone will match your level of depth or intentionality. Don't be discouraged if others seem reactive or distracted. You're not here to compete with noise, you're here to build with clarity. Let your actions speak, and more importantly, let your follow-through be what distinguishes you. This focus on career isn't separate from the emotional recalibration you're experiencing. They feed into each other. The more grounded you are in your self-worth, financially, emotionally, the more clearly you'll move in your professional life. And in the days ahead, as we begin to shift toward the eclipse energy later this month, what you put in place now will become the framework that holds through the change. You're not just moving forward, you're setting the tone. There's a quieter current running underneath the more visible movements of your day on April 4th, Scorpio. One that speaks directly to your inner world. The moon moves through Taurus, your opposite sign, and in doing so, it brings attention to the state of your physical and emotional balance. This is the kind of energy that doesn't demand change, but invites it. It invites you to check in with how your body feels when no one's asking anything of you, how your mind rests when you're not pushing for answers. This is an ideal moment to slow down, not to disconnect, but to realign. When the moon activates your axis of embodiment and well-being, even subtle signals can offer valuable insight. Maybe your sleep hasn't been as deep. Maybe you've been pushing through exhaustion without noticing. Or maybe it's something less tangible, a sense of disconnection from what used to bring you joy, or a low-level irritability that doesn't seem to have a clear source. These are not things to ignore. They are signs that your nervous system is asking for recalibration. With Mars supporting Saturn, there's a unique invitation today to create structure around your wellness. This doesn't have to look like a perfect routine. It starts with intention. Choosing a nourishing meal instead of convenience. Going for a walk, not because you should, but because your body is asking for movement. Turning your phone off for an hour, not as an escape, but as a return to yourself. Your energy today isn't meant to be scattered. It's meant to be grounded. Meditation or any form of stillness will serve you well now, especially if you're navigating emotional residue from recent relationship shifts. The connection between physical tension and unresolved emotion is strong today. And when you take even a few minutes to pause, breathe, and simply notice what's coming up without judgment, you make space for that energy to move through rather than get stuck. What's happening in your inner landscape is deeply connected to what's unfolding externally. Your career drive, your emotional clarity, your financial choices, They're all being filtered through your nervous system. The more you support that system, the more precise and aligned your actions will be. So take this day not as a challenge to perform better, but as a reminder that your inner state is the foundation for everything else you're building. Your body and your mind are not separate from your path. They are the instruments through which you walk it. The emotional landscape around family and close relationships is subtly shifting on April 4th, and you may find yourself feeling more attuned to the dynamics beneath the surface. With the moon in Taurus forming a conjunction to Uranus, the planet of disruption and insight, there's a possibility that something small could trigger a larger wave of realization, especially in the spaces where emotional habits have gone unexamined for too long. You may notice a change in tone with someone close to you. A moment of tension, an unexpected confession, or even just an awkward silence that feels heavier than usual. Don't rush to fix or explain it. Let it be an opening. Uranus doesn't always arrive gently, but its role is to break patterns that have outlived their purpose. If there are dynamics in your family or inner circle that feel stuck or unspoken, this is a moment where clarity can emerge, not through confrontation, but through presence. You're being asked to listen more openly today, not just to what others are saying, but to how they're saying it, to what's left unsaid. The moon in Taurus wants steadiness, but Uranus insists on evolution. The balance here is to hold space for emotional safety while also allowing room for honest shifts. If something has been weighing on you, a boundary you haven't set, a truth you've avoided sharing, this is a good time to bring it forward gently, with intention. There's also a nurturing aspect to this transit, one that supports healing through attention. You don't need to fix everything at once. Sometimes what heals a relationship is simply showing up consistently without pretense. Small gestures carry weight now, cooking a meal together, calling someone first, letting silence exist without needing to fill it. These actions reinforce connection not by force, but by presence. This theme of relational depth connects directly to everything else unfolding in your chart. The clarity you're gaining in love, the structure you're building in work, the alignment you're seeking in your body, they all reflect back in your closest bonds. How you show up for others often mirrors how you're showing up for yourself. So today, let those interactions be a gentle mirror and an opportunity to deepen not just connection, but understanding. What emerges from this space may surprise you. Not all shifts are loud. Some begin quietly, in the way someone finally hears you when you speak with softness instead of urgency, or in the way you stop explaining yourself and just allow who you are to be enough. Let this be one of those days. There's a subtle, energetic tone to April 4th that's worth acknowledging, not through logic, but through the mood of the day itself. And sometimes the best way to attune to that tone is through small rituals, color, numbers, intention. These elements don't dictate your path, but they can anchor you in it, offering a sense of resonance when the larger movements feel too abstract. The color teal aligns strongly with today's lunar placement in Taurus and the broader emphasis on emotional steadiness and renewal. It carries both the grounding quality of earth and the fluidity of water, two elements that speak directly to your current need for balance. Teal doesn't demand attention. It invites reflection. Wearing it, surrounding yourself with it, or simply meditating on its tone can help quiet the static, especially if your emotional or relational environment feels overstimulated. Numerologically, the numbers that emerge today, 9, 26, 41, 55, 69, 87, carry a rhythm that mirrors the themes in your chart. The 9 speaks to closure, to wisdom gained through experience. The 26 and 41 echo structure and progress. The double 5s point to inevitable shifts, and the 69 and 87 suggests cycles, things completing, others just beginning. You may not find these numbers in obvious places, but notice if they appear. Often they show up in passing as a subtle confirmation that something internal is aligning with what's unfolding around you. And as the energy of the day continues to weave between structure and surrender, between Mars and Saturn's discipline and the moon, Uranus' push for emotional breakthrough, there's one reminder worth holding close. Change is not something to brace against. It's something to recognize, to listen to, and when the time is right, to lean into. Let this day be a quiet agreement between you and the unfamiliar. Not everything will make sense right away. Not every shift will announce itself with clarity, But trust that what moves now is part of a larger rhythm you're meant to follow. Even the most uncertain moment holds the seed of something waiting to grow. As we close today's reading, I want to leave you with this. Everything you're navigating right now, whether it feels clear or uncertain, is part of a much larger rhythm that's unfolding in perfect time. The transits of April 4th aren't here to rush you or push you. They're here to help you realign, to remind you that strength isn't always about forward motion. Sometimes it's about stillness. Sometimes it's about listening more deeply to what your inner world is already trying to tell you. So wherever you are in your process, whether you're making bold moves, having difficult conversations, or simply learning to be more honest with yourself, know that you're doing the real work. And the energy around you is quietly supporting that work in ways you may not fully see just yet. I'll be here with you again soon to continue this journey. Until then, stay grounded, stay open, and trust the timing of your own becoming.